Hey everyone, it's JP and I'm back with a bracelet tutorial for you today. I hope you like this. I think it came out really pretty and looks fairly complicated, but it's a simple bracelet to make. You'll just need a few types of beads and some Montees and a clasp. Alright, so I'm going to show you what materials you need. Also, the materials are listed in the description section, so you do not need to ask me or write to me and wait for me to respond, because sometimes I don't see that for a while. So this way I show you in the video and I also have it in the description. This bracelet is about 5.5 inches. That's the length of the bracelet. The clasp will add a little bit more, so I tend to wear about 6-inch bracelets, and this is right there at that 6-inch mark for me. But just so you note what we're doing. So each unit, basically the unit starting from this to about this is what you'll need to make one unit, which is this makes 1.5 inches, which is 2 of these units, and then the middle smaller unit there with the bicones. Okay, let's take a look at the materials. Okay, so let's talk about materials. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some superduos. So this is the ones that I'm using. These are from Michaels. It says bronze. The color is something like bronze iris, violet, something like that. If you look it up online, but if you have, if you're in the US, go to Michaels. You're also going to need some Montees. So this is what those are, and the ones that I'm using. These are Preciosa Rose Montees SS12. I guess the color is crystal. They come in a pack of 24, and these are from artbeads.com. Excuse me. Next, I have 4mm bicones, and these are check machine cut, emerald, full AB. So here they are. It says 4mm, and these are from crystalsandbeadsforfriends.com. So gorgeous, gorgeous beads. And last is, of course, 11O seed beads. I am using my Miyuki 11s, and the color is Duracoat Galvanized Yellow Gold Miyuki Japanese Round 11. And I believe these are from Aura Crystals. This is where I purchased these, but pretty much you can get these anywhere. I think even Amazon has them. So those are the bead materials you'll need. I'm also using fireline. Here we go, 6 pounds. I'm using the smoke because these are dark colors. Anyway, so those are the materials which you'll need. You also need a clasp. I am going to use a toggle clasp. And probably some jump rings. So I forgot to take this out, but here's my toggle that I will be using, and I don't have my jump rings out. I will get those in the meantime, but you'll need a couple of jump rings for the clasp. And that is it. So let's get started. Okay, so let's try that again. So to begin, so don't trip over words here. Anyway, what you want to do is start with 3 11s, superduo, 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 bicone, and superduo. So as you can see, what you want are 6 superduos. You want to start with the 3 11s, and you want to pick up 5 sets of those with superduos in between, and then this last one is going to have a bicone. What you're going to do now is take your thread and you're going to tie a knot, and you're going to form a ring. So you don't need a long tail here, just whatever's comfortable, because we're going to weave, we're going to reinforce the ring anyway. So I want to make sure the ring goes between the 11s and my superduos here, and you want a nice tight ring. So this is what you're going to get. The superduos, the 11s, and that one bicone. Now what I'm going to do is actually reinforce this ring. So I'm here between the 11s and the superduos. Let's make sure that's in focus, and I'm just going to go all the way around. until I get back to the spot. So go through the superduo, the bicone, and the 11. And take your time with this. Don't rush, because you want to make sure you don't skip any of the beads, especially the 11s. They can be easy to skip over. And when you get to the set of 11s that are directly opposite the bicone, so what you're going to do is go through the first 2 of these, and we're going to make a loop for the clasp. So you want to come out of the middle seed bead here. As you can see, I'm coming out of that middle one. And then I'm going to pick up 4 11s. I'm going to go through that, just that middle 11. And let me just turn the work so I can work up and you can also see what I'm doing. Go through that first 11 here in that set of 4 you just picked up, because it's going to form a little ring. And I'm going to do my best to keep my thumb out of the way. Sometimes you just need to hold the work though a certain way just to get the tightness in the thread. So be patient. I'm going to pick up an 11 and I just want to go into the next 11. This is going to form the diamond pattern. So if you watched my channel before, you know I tend to do this for my clasps and my ear loops. So repeat once again, pick up an 11, go into the next 11. And one more time, pick up an 11, go into the next 11. And there you go, you have that diamond pattern. Now what I'm going to do is reinforce. So I'm going to go into that middle seed bead, because that's the next seed bead here. And you can see what I've got, so let's go ahead and reinforce. So you may have to go through 2 beads at a time because of the angles here that I formed with the diamond shape. And I want to make sure my thread doesn't get wrapped around anything. Okay, so I've reinforced everything. And you can do that a couple more times if you want, but I think we should be good. So now I want to continue onward and keep reinforcing the rest of this ring. Now once I get back to where I was, so if you remember, we made the knot here between the 11 and the superduo. So I'm actually going to go through the 11s and then into the superduo. So this is what you should have at this point. Now I'm going to switch into the second hole of this superduo. And just for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to go ahead and trim. Let's see if I have my thread zapper here. I'm going to trim that tail because it's really annoying. Tail is out of the way. Okay, so now what you're going to do is connect all the superduos together. So to do that, you need an 11 between each one. So pick up an 11 and go into this next superduo here. And what you want to do is just push the superduos towards the center and then repeat, pick up another 11, go into the next superduo bead here. Just like so, and once again, pick up an 11, go into the next superduo. So we got to do this 3 more times. So again, I'm going to pick up an 11, go into this next superduo. And again, pick up an 11, go into the next superduo. And the last one, pick up an 11, go into the superduo. This is what you should have. So I'm using Montees, but you can also use round beads. So, but before we do that, I guess I should, one thing you do want to do is reinforce this. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce my rings first. So the inner ring now is going to get reinforced. I'm going to go through all the beads, the superduos and the 11s. Oops, I went the wrong way. Whoops. Got to pay attention to which direction you're going in. Okay, so I am going in the right direction and I'm going to go ahead and reinforce. Sorry about that. But, you know, these things happen. As you know, I'm a experienced beader and I still get it wrong. It happens. So I'm going to go all the way around till I get to the one that is there by the bicone. That was essentially our starting point. So make sure this is nice and tight. So I'm going to give that a good pull. Now to pick up the Monte. So the back of the Monte, as you can see, let me pick it up, it's got this sort of plus sign to it. And so you want to go, we're going to go through 2 beads, but first I'm going to go through 1 set. So from the back, you can go through it one side of the plus sign, and so I'm coming out of this 11, go directly opposite to this 11, and you're going to go through just that 11. And that'll pop the Monte into the center. And then what you want to do is actually go back through the Monte, through the same set of, to that same hole. So and now I was coming out of this seed bead and I went, so I was down and then through. So now I'm going to go back through that same seed bead and then I'm going to go through this superduo and the next 11. So the Monte's in the center, it looks really cute there. I'm going to go through this superduo here. And now, as you remember, there's a plus sign. So it's actually, so here's the superduo. I just flipped the work. So I'm coming out of this superduo there. So there's that plus sign. So what I want to do is now go through that part of the plus sign on the Monte. And just to kind of show you from the back, this is actually kind of a, you can see that I'm going to go through it from there. And so there I am, I'm coming out of there, you can see the thread. So I'm going to go through my superduo here, which is directly opposite the other one. So I went through this one here where my thumb is, and now I'm coming out of this purplish looking one. And I think I went through the seed bead too, so I didn't want that. Back out a little. And then you go back into the Monte here. So you want to make sure you're going in to the opening of the Monte, which is just like that. And then back into the superduo. And then I went through the 11, so now I'm going to continue to the superduo, the 11, and one more superduo past the bicone here. And into the superduo. Now switch over into the other hole of the superduo. And then into the bicone. Okay, but let me show you what we have so far. So you can see, there it is. Isn't that pretty? I think that just looks great. I love this color combination and the way it came out. All right, so to continue, pick up an 11, a bicone, 11, bicone, 11, bicone. So you're going to be picking up 3 bicones and 4 11s. So this is the combo you want. Go through that bicone. And so you should get this nice little ring. And then reinforce, of course. Okay, so I'm back at the bicone where we started, and I want to get to the bicone on the opposite side. So here we go. This is what you need. Okay, so now we're going to make the next unit, which is going to be the superduo unit. So we made our bicone unit, superduo unit is kind of what I'm referring to. Now in order to do this, we are essentially, you want to pick up all the beads that are part of that outer ring. So it's just going to be 11s and superduos. So we're going to start with the superduo, and then followed by 3 11s, then a superduo. I'm just going to check both holes, and then 3 11s, and a superduo. So once you've gotten the 3, you want to pick up a bicone, because we're going to need that bicone, and then a superduo. So, and I'm just bringing those down so you can see how that's going to work. Then 3 more 11s, superduo, 3 11s, and a superduo. So you want to make sure you get your 6 superduos. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 already over here. So this should be our 6. And now all you do is go back through this bicone over here. And we have the ring, so you can kind of see what's happening here. So I'm making the outer ring part of it first, and then connecting it in the center with the seed beads and the Monte. And so, to keep going, next thing you want to do is reinforce. And I'm just going to flip it for a second while I reinforce, because I'm a lefty and got to work in this direction, just more comfortable for me. So I'm going to keep going until I get back to this bicone. All right, through the bicone, and I'm going to just go past it into the superduo, because we want to switch into the other hole of the superduo here. So everything's been reinforced. So now go ahead and we're going to push the bicones towards the center. So I'm going to change into this second hole, And now I'm going to pick up an 11 and go into the next superduo. Then keep going, so I'm pushing the superduos towards the center, and I'm picking up an 11 and going into the next superduo, and wrapped around my finger here, so let me just pull that up. So you just want to tighten as you go, but don't worry, it'll come together if it doesn't right away. So again, I picked up an 11, I'm going into the superduo. So I've done this 3 times now. Pick up an 11, go into the superduo, pick up an 11, go into the superduo, and one more time, pick up an 11, go into the superduo, and then reinforce. And actually, so I'm still backwards, as you can see, so I'm just gonna flip this before I tighten it and make sure so these superduos is going to sit up. It's not going to be completely flat. It should be fairly flat, but they will sit up a little bit. So it's got a little bit of a dome effect because of the way the Monte and the tightening. Now you want to come out of this 11 here, the one that's next to the bicone. And then we're going to pick up our Monte, so let's see. Oops. There's the Monte, so there's that backwards, the back part of it. I'm going through that. I'm going to flip it over just so it comes and sits nicely and neatly in position. It's going to want to keep turning, and I don't. Alright, so I'm going into the seed bead that is directly opposite the one I'm coming out of. And then I'm going to go back into the Monte. And you want to make sure that it actually goes through. And you can tell, you'll be able to feel it as you push through it. And then back into the seed bead. And then through a superduo if you can. If not, don't worry about it. You can just do that after. Now go through the superduo and the next 11. And then into this superduo here. And now we're going to go into the Monte on this side because of that plus sign. So there it is. You should be able to feel this with your needle. If you've never worked with a Monte, you'll know it. And then through that superduo there, and that's the opposite side. And you just want to go through the superduo because we got to go back through the Monte again. Not quite. Oh, there's the hole. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, still not coming through the hole there. There we go. Now I am. And then back into the superduo. And then continue forward into the 11. And that secures the Monte into place. And then go forward into the superduo, the 11. One more superduo. And then switch to the second hole of this superduo here next to the bicone. And then go through the bicone. Okay, so that is essentially what we're going to be doing the rest of the time. Basically, so now we're going to make this bicone unit over here, just like we did before, and then we'll keep repeating, then make this next unit. So I'm going to show you how to do that one more time. I'll get you all the way through one more set of these units and go from there. So just to show you the length, grab my ruler. And sorry, this is upside down for you, but to show you. So this is about 1.5 inches, give or take, just about. So basically it's 2 of these units and 1 of the bicone units, and that gives you 1.5 inches. So for me, for a 6-inch bracelet, that means I'm going to need to do this 3 more times to get my 6 inches. 3 more times. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much materials you'll need. Also, by the way, in case I forget to mention it in the beginning, I always have a material list in the description section. So you can always check down there. I also tell you everything per inch that you'll need. So if you need a longer bracelet than I do, then you'll know exactly. You'll be able to calculate the amount of materials you'll need. Okay, so to continue. I'm going to pick up an 11 bicone, 11 bicone, 11 bicone, so 3 bicones, 4 11s, and you're going to go back through this bicone, get that, reinforce, go through all of these. So I've reinforced it. Now I want to get to the opposite bicone. All right, so now we got to pick up all the beads for this unit here, and we're going to start with the superduo, then 3 11s, superduo, 3 11s, superduo, and our bicone. Just like that, and then again another superduo, 3 11s, superduo, 3 11s, and superduo. Go back into the bicone. just like that. That's what you're going to get. And then let's reinforce this. And into the bicone. And then my superduo here. So just give it a good tug, and then I'm just going to go back to making sure that this is up. And I'm going to switch into the other hole of the superduo here. And now for this step, you're just adding the 11. So pick up an 11, go into the next superduo, and keep repeating. 11, and the next superduo here. 11, go into the superduo. 11, go into the superduo here. 11 again, go into the superduo. And one more time. 11, and go into the superduo. All right, and then just go ahead and reinforce. So we're just going to tighten up our ring. And I'm coming out of this 11 here by the superduo, or by the bicone. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this Monte, picking up the Monte one last time. So again, as I showed you before, there is the plus sign. That's the back of the Monte there with the plus sign. Go through that, and the Monte's gonna, like I said before, it just keeps rotating. Don't worry about it. So kind of hold it in place like I am with my thumb and my finger at the index down there. I'm gonna go into the opposite 11. And I'm going to go back into the Monte here. So it's still kind of loose, so let me just go through the seed bead here to make sure I get it nice and tight. So there it is. Now it's not going to move around. So from the seed bead, go into the superduo, then the next 11 and the superduo. Go into the Monte, so make sure you get that other side of the Monte. So if you can see that, the needle is coming out of the Monte, the other part of that Monte. Now we're just going to go around the superduo. And then back through the Montees. So make sure you go in there. And then through the superduo. And there you have it. So we've gotten 5 units done if you count the middle units here, or just our 3 superduo units. What I'm going to do is go ahead and tie off. So my thread's gotten fairly short, so I'm just going to tie some half-inch knots here. So let's go into the superduo on the 11. And I'm going to tie a knot between this 11 and the superduo. I started with a shorter piece of thread just because I'm on camera and it's just easier to work with a little bit less thread. So I probably am needing to add more thread because of that. So go ahead and tie another one. So I usually tie about 3, and that should be good enough. So again, it's going to be between the 11 and the superduo. Go through. And one more time. So that was my 3rd knot. Now I'm just going to go through a couple more of these beads and trim this extra thread. So okay, so I'm going to show you how to add thread and then we'll continue from there. So let me add some thread. Alright, so I've got some neat thread in my needle here. And what I'm going to do is actually go into the superduo and the bicone back here. Go through the superduo back there. Leave a small tail, and the first thing I'm actually going to do is tie a half-inch knot right there between the superduo and the bicone. So there's my first one right between the 2 beads there. So continue through the bicone. And the superduo. So right there I went through both. So I'm just going to do this from the back for a second. So I'm coming out of the superduo there at the bottom here, right here. So I'm going to go through the next 3 seed beads. And once again, tie a second half-inch knot. And continue through the superduo. And I also went through that 11. Continue through the next 2 11s. and tie another 1/2 inch knot. So if you pull on the thread, it should feel very secure. I've tied 3 knots. I'm going to go into this superduo here and into my bicone. So then I can now safely trim this. Get that out of the way. And to continue, pick up an 11, then a bicone, pick up an 11, bicone, 11, bicone, and an 11. So once again, it's 3 bicones you're picking up and 4 11s. Go back around the bicone. And you get this. And reinforce. Oops. Don't worry. Didn't quite stab myself. I did feel the needle, but it didn't quite go very deep. Okay, so I've reinforced. Now I want to get back out of this bicone. And now we are ready to continue with the superduo unit. I've already shown you how to do that a couple of times now, so keep going until you get the length that you desire. And once we get to that last unit, I will show you once again how to make it, because it'll be a little bit different than these middle units. We're going to make it similar to this, so we're going to have to add this part in, so I'll show you how to do that. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I've continued making my bracelet, so I have one more unit that I need to make, and so I'm going to show you how to make the end unit. It's going to be very similar to this one. And so we're going to start with picking up a superduo, pick up 3 11s, pick up a superduo and 3 11s. I'm going to bring those down. Pick up a superduo, and now normally you would pick up a bicone, but we're not going to do that. We're going to pick up 3 11s instead. And then a superduo, and again 3 11s. Superduo, 3 11s, and the last superduo. So you need those 6 superduos, so just make sure you get those. You start with the superduo and end with the superduo. Then go back through the bicone. Just like that. So we have our ring. And then now we're going to reinforce. Make sure you give that a good tug, and I'm coming out of this middle seed bead, which is what you want. I'm going to come out of that middle seed bead, which is directly opposite the bicone here. Pick up 4 11s, and go back through just that 11. Go through the first 11 in the set of 4. Anyway, so go through that first 11, pick up an 11, go into the next one. Give it a good tug, and then you're going to repeat, pick up an 11, go into the next one. Pick up an 11, just one, go into the next one. Now you're going to go back into that middle seed bead one more time here. And then we are just going to reinforce our clasp loop. I'm going through 2 beads at a time to make sure I get through them all. And then we just continue reinforcing our ring here. And my thread's a little bit short, so I might just go ahead. I don't know if it'll make it. Okay, so I think I'll just keep going. And I'm going to come out of this super duo of reinforced. Because I want to switch to the other hole of the super duo. Just like that. Okay, so I actually went ahead and added more thread because one of my biggest pet peeves is being very close to finishing a project and then running out of thread. It drives me crazy. Anyway, so I'm coming out of this super duo. I'm going to switch into the second hole of this super duo. And then I'm going to pick up an 11 and go into the next super duo there. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Pick up an 11, go into the next super duo. Pick up an 11, go into the super duo, pushing them all towards the center. Remember, we're going to push them towards the center. Pick up a super duo, or pick up an 11 and go into the next super duo. And again, pick up an 11. I'm going into the super duo there. And one more time. Pick up an 11, go into the super duo, and we are going to reinforce. So we should get a nice tight ring. Let's get this. So go through the beads again. Okay, so now we're ready for the Monte. So reinforced, and I'm coming out of this 11, so I'm going to pick up my last Monte here for the project. There I have it, and bring that down. Go to the seed bead that is directly opposite. And then we are going to go back through the Monte. So as you can see, this is the back side. Make sure that gets flipped around. It does tend to move a bit, so I'm just going to hold it down with my thumb. And go back through my seed bead here where we started. I want to make sure you can see. It's okay if you go through that super duo because we need to go in that direction anyway. So the Montee flipped, that's okay. I'm going to turn it here in a second. There we go. And then continue into the 11 and the next superduo. And then go through the Montee. Through this superduo, that's opposite. And back through the Montee again. Yep. And then through the superduo. And that secures it in place. So now all you gotta do is tie off. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie a 1/2 inch knot. So I'm coming out of the 11, I'm gonna tie a knot between the superduo, the 11 and that superduo. And I have enough thread to do 3 knots, so that's what I'm gonna do. So that's 2. And 1 more. Okay, that looked like it was wrapped around the wrong bead, so I just undid that. Okay, there we go. Now I got it. And then I am gonna go through a couple more beads and then trim the thread, just to get away from the knot a little bit. All right, come on, super duos. Okay. We'll trim this. My battery might be running out. There we go. And the other one here. Oh, come on. I think I need new batteries. It's not quite heating up. Okay, everyone, so I trimmed the thread, I finally got it trimmed, and then I added my clasp. So all I did was add a jump ring through the loop that I made here, and then added my toggle clasp. So there is the bracelet. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. It was a little bit of a long one, but I wanted to make sure you understood what I was doing, and hopefully the explanation made sense. So there it is, and hopefully join my Facebook group and show me pictures if you end up making the bracelet. I always love to see what colors everyone else chooses. Anyway, I will see you next week. If you liked this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks. Bye.